My name is Daniel, a 34-year-old man, and until the night of my wife's company gala, I had never truly questioned the respect people had for me or for my marriage. My wife, Ava, worked at a well-known marketing firm, and every year they hosted an elaborate gala filled with music, fancy speeches, and people trying a little too hard to impress each other. I had attended a few before, always trying to blend in despite not being part of the corporate world. But this year something happened. Something so unexpected and humiliating that the entire room fell silent. The evening started normally. Ava looked stunning in a blue dress, her hair pinned up neatly. I felt proud walking beside her. As we entered the venue, she introduced me to colleagues left and right. Most people were polite, shaking my hand and making small talk. But there was one man, Evan. I had heard his name before, mostly in casual mentions. Ava always described him as a work friend who helped her on different projects. I didn't pay much attention then. I wish I had. When we approached the table assigned to us, Evan stood up with a loud grin plastered on his face. "Ava," he said, giving her a hug that lasted a bit too long. I shook it off, trying not to overthink. The night continued with appetizers, speeches, and jokes that echoed through the room. The lights shimmered across the tables, and everyone seemed relaxed. Until Evan opened his mouth again. It happened during a moment between speeches, when the host was transitioning to the next announcement. People were chatting quietly. Evan, already a bit loud from the drinks he'd had, leaned back in his chair and said, "You know, Ava deserves a real man after hours." The words hit the table like a dropped glass. Sharp. Loud. Shattering everything. For a split second, I thought I misheard him. But the silence that spread around us like a ripple confirmed that every person nearby had heard him clearly. Conversations stopped. Forks froze halfway to mouths. A few eyes widened. Some people exchanged nervous glances. Even the music in the background suddenly felt far away. Ava's face turned pale, then red, then something in between, shock mixed with embarrassment. She didn't laugh. She didn't brush it off. She didn't even look at me right away. She just stared at Evan as if she couldn't believe he had said it out loud. I felt heat rising in my chest, not anger at first, but confusion. Disbelief. Humiliation. People at nearby tables were whispering. Someone muttered, "What was that?" Another person said, "Did he really say that?" I felt eyes on me, waiting for my reaction. I took a slow breath. My instinct wasn't to explode or make a scene. Instead, I turned to Evan and said steadily, "What exactly does that mean?" He froze. His smug grin vanished instantly. The color drained from his face as he realized the weight of what he had said in front of a room full of coworkers and supervisors. He swallowed hard, stuttering something about, "just joking," and, "it didn't mean anything." But it did mean something. It meant he felt comfortable enough to disrespect me openly. Comfortable enough to imply something inappropriate about my wife. Comfortable enough to push boundaries he never should have approached. Ava finally spoke, her voice shaking but firm. "That wasn't a joke, Evan. And it wasn't funny." She pushed her chair back and stood up. I followed her, and without another word, we walked out of the ballroom together. In the hallway, she put her hands on her face, mortified. "Daniel, I'm so sorry. I had no idea he would ever say something like that." Her voice cracked. I should have shut down his behavior earlier. I could see how hurt she was, not just by his comment, but by the idea that it might have reflected poorly on her or on us. I reminded her that the blame didn't fall on her. Evan had crossed a line intentionally, and the embarrassment he brought had nothing to do with her character. A few minutes later, the event coordinator approached us nervously, apologizing on behalf of the company. Apparently, several higher-ups had overheard the remark. Evan's behavior wasn't just inappropriate, it was unprofessional. They assured us the incident would be addressed. We drove home in silence at first, letting the cool night air settle our nerves. Finally, Ava spoke. "I never want to work with him again. I didn't realize how he acted when alcohol got involved. I'm done with that kind of company." Her voice was steady now, clearer than before. And for the first time that night, I felt something other than humiliation. I felt relief. Relief that she saw the disrespect as clearly as I did. Relief that she chose boundaries, not excuses. The next day, Ava told me her firm had taken immediate action. Evan was suspended pending review, and multiple co-workers apologized to her personally. Word spread quickly. People understood that his comment wasn't harmless, it was demeaning, and it had no place in any environment, let alone a professional one. Looking back, that night taught me something important. Respect isn't just about how someone treats you in private. It's about how they treat you in public, when eyes are watching and the truth of their character shines through. And in that moment, I learned who stood beside me, and who never deserved a place in our lives to begin.